what should be the last instalment of this thrilling episode of The Chair That Hugs Me. When I started out 4 episodes ago, I didn't think it was going to take this long, but it's worked out well, so hopefully you're still with me and hopefully you still enjoyed it. Anyway, as you can see before me, I have this magnificent piece of material. It's a proper upholstery grade material. Now let me talk to you about material before we go too much further. There's a difference between standard material and upholstery material. I mean, obviously this is much heavier weight, heavier grade, but also it comes with a fireproof backing. Now, I've had a bit of an obsession about fireproofing in some of the earlier videos. I'll leave you to make your own mind up on it, but I would recommend you do it. Now when you look on the sort of the various websites or the catalogues or so forth to see about material, they start talking about the number of rubs. And this is a measure, it's called the Martindale measure. And the higher a number of rubs that it has, the longer it will last in everyday usage. So if it's for sort of domestic use, you know, something you're going to use around your home, you need to be looking for something in the region of about 20,000 rubs. If it's for contract use, you're going to be putting it in some form of office or bar, or you know, somewhere where there's an awful lot of people are going to sit on it for an awful lot of time, then you need to be looking at sort of 40,000 rubs. That's considered to be contract grade. So what I have here is a material which is suitable for domestic use, because this is what it's going to be used for. It's got a pattern, but it's not a diabolical pattern. Some patterns are enormous, it's really difficult to match. Whereas this is quite an easy one, I think. Though I'm sure time will tell. So without any further ado, let's get going. I'm going to start off by doing the seat first. So I shall cut out the piece that I need for doing this. So are you ready? The first chance to actually see what our chair is going to look like. What do you think? I rather like that. I didn't think I was going to like the material. I thought it was going to be too light. But I think that's going to be lovely. So I'm just going to get on now and I'm going to tack all this into place. Spending a little bit of time getting it just how we want it. I'll do this one. Then I'll go on to do the arms, and then we'll meet up again in a moment when we need to start thinking about how to do the back. Well, it's back to the sewing machine time again. So I'm going to do things in a slightly different order to what I decided earlier. I'm going to do the back next, and as you can see, I've had the sewing machine out and I've sewn, we'll pretend they're straight lines, but they're pretty close. Now if I just tack this to the back, we'd end up with 5 stripes, purely because we put a hem in there, but we would lose the definition we've worked so hard to get. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do exactly the same as I did the last time round. I'm going to stitch these in, but moving on from last time, I've got an even bigger needle this time. I'm going to get as many stitches along here as I can, and then when it's ready we'll then move along to the next one, and just stitch it down into the valleys. Now the difference between this time round and when I did it last time is I did individual stitches and then sort of tied each one off. What I'm going to do now is try and get the stitches much closer together, and I'll just do the equivalent of a running stitch. So I've got them about every sort of 3 centimetres. So now we've reached a point that the sides and the back and the seat are all fitted. So now I'm doing the outside of the sides. Now I'm going along underneath the arm overhang, and I'm putting a strip. I mean, it's a prepared, it's called backing strip, and you buy it in a blooming great big roll. If you can't get it, then use cereal boxes. Cut yourself a strip of cereal boxes and just put it in like that. And then that goes all the way down there like that. That's the easy bit. The challenge is this bit. Now I'm just putting a tack there just to hold it, but what I need to do is to pin that little lot down, and then I need to sew up the middle of there, little tiny stitches just to hold it all together. And then once I've got that done, then I can pull it tight this end, and then that's that side done. We'll then do the same on the other side, same on the back. So let's get some pins into that, and then we can start thinking about sewing it. No matter which way you do this, the chair is always in the wrong place. It's the wrong shape, the wrong size. So you'll always end up leaning over the top and being uncomfortable. But anyway, what you want to do is little tiny stitches and just sew the two parts of the seam together. So ideally you're going to sew on the inside of the bend, if that makes sense. So I'll just carry on doing this, and I'll tack it into place. I'll then do the other one, because this isn't very exciting for you to watch, and then we'll do the one on the back. And then we're getting to a point where this is nearly finished. Well, that's that seam sewn in all the way around to there, and I've tacked it along the bottom and tacked it at the back, and that's quite a nice panel now, isn't it? So I'll just do the other one now. The sad bit is now I'm banned from sitting in it. My overalls are far too dirty to allow me to be sat in this, but it was nice while it lasted. So we come to the last of the fancy panels, and the technique is exactly the same as we've done before. I'm going to use the nailing strip as before. I'm going to try and get it reasonably. You can feel here is our piece of wood, so I want to get it reasonably low down. And then as before, we then fold the whole thing up and we sew up the edges. It's going to be a long job. You could always go and have a look at some of the other videos that I've made. You never know, you might enjoy those as well. There's always the danger. If you're inspired to make some of the projects that are on the videos, a number of the videos come with project books. And you can get the project books from Fitzrobbie, along with many other of my bits and pieces. Although I've recently started using Etsy as well, but Fitzrobbie is the one that I would prefer that you use. Obviously I always try and work several videos ahead, and the next video is one of the ones that's going to come with a project book. So I'm just going to sort of slowly work my way down this side. It's as boring as it's possible to get. I've got some classic tunes on my laptop to listen to. Does that make me sound really old? Do we still say classic tunes? So now we turn our attention to the bottom of the chair. Now, the conventional way to do this is just to get a bit of this black scrim and just tack it to the bottom. Job done. And that would be a nice and easy way to do it. However, you will remember right back at the start we put these extra bits of webbing in, and this is because I want to create a secret compartment. I could get a laptop in there, so when I go away on my holidays I could hide the laptop. Although this chair is not for me, it's for somebody else, but they could hide their laptop, and the compartment goes all the way back to the back there, so it's plenty of space. I've been reading a little bit about secret compartments recently. I find them quite a sort of a fascinating topic, a bit of a challenge, and I do like a challenge, as you know. So what I'm going to do with this one is I've fitted my cover much more than you would normally do, and so I'm going to run a hem round here, quickly put this on the sewing machine, run a hem round, and then I'm going to put some Velcro around that edge there, and we'll put the corresponding bit of Velcro on our chair frame, so then this bit can then flap back and give you access to the secret compartment. But if you're a burglar, you haven't seen this bit. Now here's something you don't see very often, the staple gun. And since we've got the staple gun out, you might as well use it, despite the fact you don't like it. Well, there you are, we've finished. It seems like we've both been in for a very long haul, doesn't it? It's taken forever. But we now have what I like to think of as an Art Nouveau chair. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Who's going to tell me otherwise? Traditionally upholstered in a rather fine fabric with a secret compartment underneath. What more could you want? Well, hopefully you enjoyed it all. I'm glad you managed to stay with me all the way through. That's quite an accolade. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. If you've enjoyed it, go and have a look at some of the others. Sign up for Instagram, look at Facebook, get the blog, you know, all the usual stuff I tell you every single time. In the meantime, I'm now going to put some clean clothes on so I can actually be allowed to sit in the chair. I feel a cup of tea and a chocolate biscuit coming up, but I might have to have the chocolate biscuit on a plate. Thanks very much for watching. Give yourself a gold star. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.